Hello everyone and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade. I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 164. Today is Saturday, January 7th, 2017, and I'm really glad you could join me today. It is actually still daylight. It is actually Saturday. It feels like it hasn't been that long since I recorded, which is true because it was Monday. But I'm feeling pretty positive. So, looking pretty good. Now my stash has been restored. If you guys are on Instagram, I put lots of pictures up showing the process of it all. Let's just say my phone was like constantly lighting up, which is pretty cool, all things considered. So that was a very productive Monday, knitting-wise. Well, we'll put that caveat on it. It wasn't like it was a productive regular day. And today has been a pretty chill day as well. But I figured I might as well just get the recording done. What is it? The husband's out of the house, so the Dear Sweet Level one I think is getting his hair's cut, which is good because it was again sort of shaggy. So I realized some stitches fell off the needle, so I'm now trying to recover from that. But like, what was it? It was pretty chill. It was the case where I had a networking event that was brunch. I am very thankful for brunch. It's a very lovely thing. Very cool to do. And it tends to be a pretty fun crowd that ends up going to the Saturday brunch, so I really enjoy that. And then I ended up meeting up with someone, or a high schooler who was interested in attending my alma mater, so I figured it was worth hanging out and drinking some coffee and talking to her about going to engineering school. So that was a really cool conversation as well. And then I finally mailed, you know that headband I made, finished back in November? I finally mailed that to my sister so my niece can wear it while it's still cold. Oh my gosh. And it was like so easy to get it in the mail. I don't know why I was procrastinating, but I was like, okay, got that done, now it's time to podcast. So here I am. But whatever. There were many activities, just nice and chill. So this is my primary knitting project still. This is the socks that I'm making out of my Enchanted Knoll Happy Hooves bat. I still have tons and tons of, it doesn't even look like I've used any yarn, and I'm halfway done with the sock. It's crazy. So I am not too much farther than when I, talked to you guys last, oddly. Well, because, yeah, I'm not too far. I didn't have like a whole day of knitting exclusively on it, so it's coming along. It's a little bit farther down the gusset than when I was on Monday, so what have you. So it's coming along. It's I still don't know if I'm on double zeros or zeros. It's a mystery. But it's not too shabby. The color changes are nice and subtle, but it does have a nice look to it, and they'll not be matchy-matchy socks, but I'm okay with that. I understand. It's hand spun. What can you do? So coming along. Hopefully these will start motoring along pretty soon. But I got probably something close to an hour done on them today, so that was probably most of my progress. The other thing is something I'm effectively designing on the fly. So what I'm trying to do is knit a turtle cozy, and I need to make it look like Bowser. So this is roughly speaking what one of the little spikes are. we ended up looking up pictures on the internet, and Bowser has 10 spikes. And since the turtle is like 4.5 inches wide, 4 inches tall, and 6.5 inches long, that there was just no way that I could fit all of the spikes this size onto it. So, after some experimenting, I decided a slightly smaller spike. So this is a 20-stitch spike instead of a 30-stitch spike. And this guy had a 4-stitch I-cord, and that's scaled nicely, so this guy's going to get a 3-stitch I-cord. I was filled with doubt and was trying to do the I-cord backwards. Or I was thinking of trying to find a better way of applying the I-cord, but I think my original plan was just fine, so oh well. So so this is more like a 2-inch spike, this one is a 1-inch spike, and that was much more reasonable. So I'm going to make 10 of these and put the little I-cord around it, and then I'll start trying to figure out how in the world it's all getting attached. I might need it like to hang out with the turtle a little bit and figure out what actually needs to occur for putting together the last part. So, which will be most of the turtle covering what have you, which will be in this green. So it's come along. I'm pretty happy now with my spikes, and I think that's going to be the most complicated knitting of the thing. But I wanted to get it started because I feel bad not having it started, so then I can show it to my coworker and be like, Steven, is it good? And I'm sure he'll be fine. All of his examples were crochet, so. I'm just doing the best with what I can. And then what I'll do is I'll stuff the spikes with the polyfill, and I'll knit probably just an overall green thing, which will cover the turtle, and then attach the spikes to the green thing. So it's coming along. It was a night of knitting to figure out the appropriate turtle cozy design. So and then that's just the case of you're figuring out on the fly. It takes a long time. It was pretty challenging, all things considered. Stay on computer. I still haven't fixed it. I record with the computer unplugged, and so I think that just means it gets bored at some point and turns off, which is annoying, but oh well. So the turtle cozy is finally going now. So probably means I won't start the shawl until after the turtle cozy, and there may be other things that jump it in line again. So the yarn is ready to go. The beads are ready to go, but it's still just hanging out in my massive bag. I'll probably end up putting the turtle cozy project into a project bag because this thing is quite big and probably unnecessary for what I'm trying to achieve. Trying to figure out what other random stuff. Packet of sugar from the airlines. So, like, the bigger the bag you have, the more random crap you end up accumulating it. I don't even know. That's why I like my small bag. So on the spinning front, I have a bobbin for you. I brought it up here because I need to actually wind it because I'm going to be two-plying it together. But this is, the spin I was working on previously. So I had 12 ounces of Nest Roar Fruit in a superwash merino silk blend. Lovely stuff, good fun. And this was the more maroon one, so it's sort of maroons and yellows. And what I ended up doing for, I don't know, the last 2/3, excuse me, was actually combo spinning this together. So my braids of fiber, I had 2 which were light, which I got in D-Stash, and the one that I had originally had from the club, which was darker. And what was specifically darker was actually the magenta color. So I wanted to make sure to blend everything together as well as possible. So I did a couple ones where I was just alternating between the lighter two braids and then the darker one with my pieces of fiber. But then I was like thinking about it, I was like, wait a second, if I combo spin them together, that'll do a better job of blending it together. And I think it turned out really gorgeous. The singles are really gorgeous. So I think, so then I just did the rest of the 2 ounce spin that way. Or this might be more than 2 ounces actually, I'm not sure. There's a lot. It seems like there's a lot more here than the other guys. We shall see. So I'm going to be applying this together, but first I have to wind it because I'm not going to be now applying it. I just want a straight up 2-ply for this to match the other skeins, but this is going to whatever, be my spinning, so it should be nice and thin. It seems like I spun that a little bit thinner than the other one, like maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what yardage I get. Who knows? It's lace weight spinning. I'm spinning on the setting that seems to most likely give me lace weight. We'll go from there. But I also brought up the other fiber to show you guys. So that you can see too. So I have, so that's, so I had 12 ounces. So this is somewhat nearly the halfway point. I have this other guy, which is mostly yellow, but has bits of blue and green and magenta in it. And I have about 2 ounces of this. I ended up picking through it last night and actually separating some of the blue out of it, because I was sort of light on the blues. And then the second one, what I wanted to show you guys was the ones that was more blues. I ended up adding a little bit more of the yellows and greens to this one. So it will be less obviously blue when I'm done with it, but I wanted more even skeins, so I figured that was the best way to make that work. So I took the blues from that one and put it into the next one. And then I took the darkest blues and had them all together. So we go back out so I can see. So here are the darkest blues. So now there's a little bit more of the light blue in this one, and I have all sorts of random. I tried combing it, and it failed. That was one of my experiments from earlier. So unfortunately, the combing was a dreadful accident, for which I hope there is some recovery from. But here are the darkest blue colors, and now it has a little bit more of the light blue in it. So the plan was to, knit a Viajante, but also I could use these skeins for the Find Your Fade as well, or alternate them in a way that has the Find Your Fade patterning with the separate skeins that I'm creating. So that's sort of my puzzle right now, because both are going to be massive shawl-like things, which could take 12 ounces of yarn anyways. And it sounds like you don't actually use the whole skein with the Find Your Fade. I don't know, I haven't bought the pattern. It's like $7, which, based on the pictures I'm seeing on the internet, I could probably reverse engineer that one, so. I'm probably still going to end up doing the Viajante idea. What I'll have to do, what would it be? I think it'll work out. So that's sort of the rough plan right now, which could mean that jumps on my knitting queue. It's just the sort of thing where, what is it? It's so much fun to, jump the line, so to speak. What is it? I haven't yet declared my 2017 Spin the Bin. And part of that is I'm waiting for some fiber drive because I want to do a sweater spin. I would like for all of my sweater spin yarn or my sweater spin fiber to be here. So, and I had messaged Jen of Nest to say yes, put it in with my January club shipment. I think I have a January club. I'm in the monthly subscription, so what is it? So since getting, what would it be? I now have 9 braids of Nest fiber, and Nest is definitely my favorite spin. I've tried a bunch of things, and I definitely really enjoy that. So I think that's positive. But I'll need to put a bunch of Nest, I think, in my spin the bin this year because now I have 9 braids of it. It's like half my stash. Oh no, perhaps it's not that. I need to actually sort of sort through all of whatever my fiber stash and making sure that everything is set up correctly, because whatever, making sure like things are in the all used up and that the numbers are correct. Yeah. Because for some reason it seems like that function of Ravelry is just a little bit buggy right now and not quite working right. Is there like only like a couple of funny things? Like one of the other funny things that I always notice is that if you're adding pictures from Instagram to Ravelry, the up arrow at the top of the page will get you farther into your Instagram thing. The up or the arrow at the bottom of the page doesn't work at all. It's just totally dead. So poor arrow, it's all misconnected, who knows, but it's there, you can click it, but no action occurs. So you try it if you're curious, but I'm pretty sure it's a thing. And then time permitting, because what is it? Like, there are gonna be some socks. There gotta be some socks. Is that oh, what is it? So there will be socks. The oldest skein of sock yarn I don't think is even really properly photographed. Yeah, it's right there. I ended up rejiggering my shelves a little bit in order to make everything fit right. So it was the case where I have my wool mesa sock yarn is here, my wool mesa lace is here, but I also added my other small number of lace weight skeins. Hand spun is almost overflowing this cube. It's pretty full right now. And then I have fiber here. I have fiber down in the corner you guys can't see, and then I have fiber next there. And then in line with this one, we go straight down, I have my worsted heavier weight stuff in a bin. Because I don't have a ton. There's like 2 sweater quantities. And then every skein of lace weight probably causes a sweater quantity as well. But it's tricksy like that. And then way in front here, which you can't see right now, is my wool mesa DK. So I think I have a pretty good mix right now. And then what I have on the other shelves in front of there is actually my book collection. So. I guess I had a explosion because I just realized that my Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs has been catapulted. Which explains why it wasn't on the shelf with the wool mesa. Oh well. So that was, I don't know, I guess I could actually show you, but whatever. So it's always good to get a nice stash organization. I ended up throwing 9 Ziploc bags away. And so, what is it? So the really unfortunate, dreadful thing about living in Texas is that there is only one tree that looks pretty in the summertime, and it's called a crepe myrtle. And it flowers all throughout the summer, and it grows like kudzu. It seems to be the only thing that actually thrives here. But the problem with crepe myrtles is that carpet beetles live there. The adult carpet beetles love them. And then they'll have babies, and the larva, the carpet beetle larva, get inside the house. And so every year, about when it freezes, I have problems because these stinking carpet beetles really, really love yarn a lot. So if I have yarn sitting out in the open, especially near my windows where the crepe myrtles are, destroyed. Totally, completely destroyed. And the only thing that I can do to prevent all of my yarn from being destroyed is to have it in plastic bags. So it's crucial that my plastic bags don't have holes in them, which is why I go through my stash every year. Because like it's a really big problem. Like for some reason my knitted garments less likely to have problems, but I have had some problems with socks. And you'll know that it got to it because one stitch will be sliced. So then that can oftentimes be an easy thing to darn, but if it happens in multiple places, you just have to trash it. So it's been so crazy being here and being like, ah! So when it freezes that whole entire week, I just have to vacuum like a mad fiend to just make sure that there's nothing in my house. But it'd be sort of the case where you'll never hear me talk about destashing my yarn, because honest to goodness, I would feel really bad if something had happened, you know what I mean? So, and then with the fiber as well. So it's sort of the case where, it's super duper important that I check every year. So it was the case where, last Monday, it was the case where I vacuumed compulsively the entire upstairs, and then laid everything out, took the photos, and then what I did as I was putting things away was I made sure all of my plastic bags were still good. So sometimes it's the case where I'll end up adding more, just because I don't quite have everything put away right, but this time I think I actually got rid of more plastic bags than I ended up using, so that was pretty cool. But it was just like, whatever, I just can't emphasize enough, like, if you're hiding your stash away, at least check it once. Even the yarn harlot who lives in Toronto, like, go through and just make sure that everything looks good, that there aren't any problems with it, because what I have here is like years worth of knitting, and a lot of people think my stash is like cute and wee. You know what I mean? But because this is everything. But I don't know. I just think that it's super duper important to do. So it's the case where I'll blow up the bag and I'll zip it closed, and then I'll like hug it to my chest, and if air starts coming out, it just gets tossed. So that's my PSA. Because the other thing is that the yarn tags will sometimes like pop a hole in it and that sort of thing, or like slice it. So just something to keep in mind. But that's it's a lot of fun to arrange it on colors. My primary goal is just to make sure everything is well protected, basically. So, and what would it be? And it's a little crazy making that the only thing about my yard that I really like is in like direct competition with my hobby. You know what I mean? It's so crazy making, but oh, such is life. So, is there anything else I want to talk about? Oh, so the other thing is I started watching a Not New to Anyone podcast, and I had tried like watching every so every so often because it has come so highly recommended, but then I'd be like, oh wait, the crazy is too much. Is I finally realized that after like a couple minutes into the show, it starts heading back towards a more normal, tolerable level. Is the Fat Squirrel Speaks. So I'm a little bit bummed because I was an Indiana podcaster. What is it? Before. There have been episodes of me podcasting in Indiana. So I find it to be funny that I never ended up actually meeting Amy Beth. But I've concluded that the crazy is not, the extreme crazy at the beginning of the episode is not sustained throughout the entire one. So, so I have been enjoying that. And so I just wanted to give a shout out for that because it was like, starting to watch that. But it would be the case where, what was it, at the beginning of every show she ends up putting out like a big thank you and shout out to all of her viewers, and I would also like to do the same for you guys. So thank you so much for taking a part in my podcast. I'm really happy that you guys like spend time hanging out with me in my knitting room or out on the porch, which is still filled with fish tank. But so I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And what would it be? It isn't like this is like a crazy, ridiculous endeavor. But what is it? I have a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you guys have fun watching it. So, what would it be? I guess the other thing that I've been wondering about is it's been a while since we've last had a knit along. And generally I try to line up my knit alongs with something that I can shoehorn into what I was planning on doing anyways. So, I honestly just don't have any clue at all. So I didn't know, like, if we wanted to do something like Shawl Along, or if we wanted to do something like Find Your Fade. I don't know. I know that that's been super hot right now, and I sort of want to join in the crazy, but only like sort of. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to have any ideas, that you can post it in the episode thread if you think there's anything that sort of fits in with what you're really into knitting now too. So this has been too long. So maybe it's more than one color shawls, I'm not sure. Like I'm up for a lot of things, so like sweater quantities down here if we want to have a sweater along. I'm definitely going to be knitting bunches of socks, so if we want to have a sock along, I'd be happy to do that as well. So let me know what you're interested in, or if we want to find like a more generic theme. I don't know. I'm sort of project feeling today, but that could change tomorrow. Such is life. I think that was everything I wanted to cover. So post an episode thread, let me know what you're feeling, or if you're like, oh my gosh, my life is insane, I can't possibly do a gal. That's cool too. So I should be able to record next week. Next week will be the 14th or the 15th. I don't know. I'll give myself some wiggle room for that one. I probably still won't be able to record on the back porch, so we'll be stuck in the knitting room. But the lighting was actually pretty good. It's starting to get a little dark now, but that's not too bad as far as color fidelity goes. So, oh well, such is life. So it should be good. So, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.